Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We have arrived at our final destination. The doors are opening up on the left-hand side for the 2021 NFL season. This is the Parlay with Awthentik and The Beard. I am super hyped. We are about ready to talk fantasy football, NFL betting. We're going to give you overs, unders, money lines, spreads, sleepers, busts. It is about to be a jam-packed show of nothing but football. And I'm going to bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the strong side to my left side, Mr. Awthentik. Welcome.
Hey, I like
How
that.
you doing, sir?
The strong side to my left side, man. It seems like StreamYard already we getting a little bit of lunch, and I hear a little static on your side, man. But we're gonna work through this. But, man, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm hyped, man. It's Sunday. We here. Y'all know what it is. Finally, a little bit of Giants apparel in the building one time. Y'all know the nation is in the building. I see some regulars from last season already, too. I'm hyped, man. I'm real hyped. I'm ready to kind of just, like, float through this fantasy stuff and get to my couch and get ready for this game.
Yes. I am totally super excited, super ready. I mean, last night I was up, like, I feel like there's players that I'm missing already in, my fantasy lineups, and I'm like, do I go make another lineup? And it's just like, yesterday I placed, it's the first week, so you don't really know. You have an idea. I was throwing darts at bets. I'm just like, I'm just going to have fun with week one, and then, I'll have a lot more data for me to kind of, go through and, make some of my, my realistic bets and picks and stuff like that. So
yeah, everything
I'm excited.
with this show is pretty much I'd say a bit of an alley-oop from last season. And kind of going off what we saw from players last season and projections for these rookies who are coming in this year. And it seems like there's a lot of rookies, man, that are going to make an impact for a lot of teams today, man. I'm looking forward to seeing Miami get out there. I really want to see what Jalen Waddle can do. I really want to see what Devontae Smith can do. And as far as players coming back from injury, man, I'm just curious to see what Kenny Galladay can do out here for my New York Giants, man. A lot of teams coming in banged up. I know y'all aren't. Has Curtis Samuel been ruled out?
Yeah, he's on the IR now.
Yeah, okay, so I figured he wouldn't be playing. I know that's tough for y'all to not be able to see him. But yeah, man, lot of offensive weaponry out there, man, that I'm looking forward to seeing.
It's going to be interesting. A lot of new faces at different places, so we're gonna find out early 1 o'clock games. Like there's a lot of good matchups. There's a lot of high-powered offenses. So I'm definitely excited to see where the day progresses as far as who's gonna stand out, and like you mentioned, the rookies, and then the vets is who's gonna be the big player of the day, who's gonna make the big statement, which team is gonna have the biggest statement game. Is there gonna be a lot of the lines are very close. 3 points, 4 points, anywhere between 1.5 to 4.
Yeah.
There's only like 2 games with crazy spreads, and we're going to talk about those in a minute. I'm going to say a quick hello to a couple of people in the chat. Don't forget, if you guys have any fantasy questions, to put those in the chat. We'll try to answer as many of those as we possibly can. Also, pinned at the top of the chat and in the description is the link to join the Awthentik and The Beard DraftKings Fantasy Football Contest. There's still some spots available in that contest, so definitely click that link. Go join that contest. It's only $5. The top 5 spots get paid out, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll see some of you guys in that. So first in the chat was the man, Zach. What's going on, Zach? Great to see you as always.
What
Kelly,
up,
the Econ Mom, says, who's ready for football? I think we're all a little bit ready for some football for sure.
What up, Kelly?
Swamp Picker's in the building. Max Webster's in the building. My man Waterfly is in the building.
Max
What's
Webster
going
in the
on,
building.
Waterfly?
What's up, Max? What up, Waterfly? How you living? Giants Nation, we heavy. We in the building.
Lax
What's up, y'all?
Ofofo is in the building. And
Lax
look
in the
who it
building.
is. It is Miss Sunday.
We got to turn down the music. We got to turn down the music. What's up, Sunday? How you living?
It's great to see you back in the chat. We appreciate it. My man Cernock from Cernock's Connection. I was telling Awthentik before we went live that Cernock was working on a restoration of a dope Giants hat. So I'm looking forward to see how that turns out for it.
I got to check that out. These the new beanie vibes for the year. Y'all know what it is. Y'all saw it in the See You Win video. See You Win is kind of a nod to my Giants too, man. I just want to see you win. We're going to see what happens this year.
Yes, that video is sick too, by the way. If you guys haven't already, make sure you check out the Awthentik album, The Color of Us. It's available on every single platform that is available. So
I need that recorded and play back a billion times.
Big shout out to Lucas and Lucas.
Hey,
so
Lucas,
we got the
two
Lucas
times,
squared
as your man would say on Tommy's channel. Lucas
yes,
2 times.
Yes.
What's up, y'all?
Joe Deals is in the building. What is up? Midnight Barbecue.
Hey, Midnight
Low.
Barbecue. That's probably Low repping. What up, fam?
What's going on? Good to see you, sir. We appreciate it as always. David's in the building. Josh is in the building. Clutch B-Ball's in the building. Caitlin is in the building.
Hey, Dragon 56. Balby in the building, man. What's up, Balby? We got a squad in the building. We ready, man. We ready, dog.
And shout out to Extreme1296 on Twitch says, at least the beard is looking as bad as it did last season. Cody Gents is in the building. Nick the Wick, Gravetti.
Cody
we got a
in the
bunch
building.
of people
Nick in the building. What's up,
today.
man? Hey, Giants Nation is heavy in the building. We kind of lopsided right now. Let's get it.
Yeah, for sure. So big shout out to Max Webster for the $1.99 super chat. Which Giants wide receiver will have the biggest day week 1?
Let's just keep it 100.
Sweet.
Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay. Let's go.
Yep. That's where I'm at for sure. And then big shout out to the Tommy Bernhardt podcast for the $4.99 super chat. Says 2 times.
2 times. What up, Tommy?
So yeah, I think we should go ahead and jump right into some action. What do you think?
I'm with it, man. I'm hyped, man. Yeah, let's get to this first game here.
All right, so the first game on the docket for the first episode of the Parlay in the 2021 NFL football season is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are a 6.5-point favorite. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock. The over-under is at 48.5 points. So I'm going to tell you a few people that I really like in this game, and then Authentic's going to give you some stuff on this game. We'll make our picks. If anybody has any questions, do not forget to type those in the chat for sure. So Steelers, 6.5. I kind of like the Steelers plus 6.5. They might not win this game, but I think they might actually cover this spread. And I'm a big fan of the rookie running back, Najee Harris, especially when it comes to fantasy, just because I think that he's one of these running backs that's coming into this game that he's the guy. You know, like they drafted him to be the guy day one. So he's going to get a lot of volume, and he can catch the ball at the backfield. So fantasy-wise, I think he's great. You know, obviously, I'm sure a lot of you picked him up in your season-long fantasy, but in daily fantasy, DraftKings FanDuel, he's super cheap today. I think he's around like $6,500, which is, you know, in comparison, McCaffrey is probably, I think he's like around 9.5, 10.4, something like that. So he's definitely like a guy to look out for. I love Chase Claypool. I'm also going to stack Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. I think that's, you know, just proven to be they're going to put up points between the two of them. It'll be interesting to see if Buffalo decides that they're going to try to run the ball this year or not. But I do like Buffalo to win the game, although I do like Pittsburgh to cover the 6.5 points. The over-under, I think we're going to get there. I think it's going to be close, but I think we're going to get there. I think this is the over under is really difficult in the first week of the season because you know you got to let these players kind of get the ball rolling. But I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Buffalo plus 6.5. What do you like in this game, Authentic?
I really like the 6.5 in this game. Steelers, it's a tricky team because last year I feel like they were a little bit overrated, but I mean they were undefeated going into week 11, I believe. Y'all broke the streak. I want to say Washington football team in the 11th game. And if you look at last year's game against the Bills, in both games they played them, they had a combined rushing yards for 47. That's kind of crazy. They averaged 2.8 yards per carry. So, yeah, I think Najee Harris is definitely the guy to look out for. Josh Allen in this game, I mean, yeah, he's coming off of pretty much a historical Buffalo Bills season. He broke franchise records with the passing touchdowns and the rushing touchdowns. He's been balling out. He's got 25 rushing touchdowns in the past 3 seasons. That's a pretty interesting stat for a quarterback. He's been balling out 4,544 yards. So I think he's a must start, obviously. MVP candidate from last year. But, yeah, that sleeper and that kind of unknown is Najee Harris. I want to see what he can do as a pass catcher out of the backfield. I'm going to the 6 seems like an alley-oop. This might sound a little bit wild here. As far as the over-under, I think we're definitely going to get there. And I'm taking the Steelers to win this game outright. I think they're going to go in here in Buffalo and upset the Buffalo Bills. Not being able to run the ball is not a Steelers type thing. And bringing in Najee Harris, that's awesome. I also want to see what the new tight end from Penn State could do. I think that's an interesting matchup. Not a guy you want to start in Pat Freiermuth, but at least keep your eyes on him today. And maybe you can I got him on a couple benches. And speaking of the stack with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, you already know. That was my game plan going into both fantasy drafts. In the league that we're doing with Mo, Kamani snagged Josh Allen, the pick right before me, which made no sense because he had Devontae Adams and he left Aaron Rodgers out there. So I got Aaron Rodgers in that league with Stephon Diggs. But in my league with She Got Sports, we're looking at a Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen stack. So, I think that's things to look out for. The shocker here might be that the Steelers come away with the victory in this game. It's not going to surprise me if the Bills win. They were a high-powered team. Everything about the Bills is on Josh Allen's back. And I think it's can they keep some consistency going? That's the number one thing. Yeah, we had a fantastic last season. Can they do it again?
For sure. Big shout out to Kalen, Dragon56. For the $1.99 super chat says, boy needs help. Keenan Allen or Robbie Anderson. That's a tough one. Obviously, I love Keenan Allen as a wide receiver. He is going against the Washington football team defense, which is on paper really good. Robbie Anderson, I love Robbie Anderson, especially in PPR leagues. He gets a lot of catches. But DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall Jr., Christian McCaffrey's back. I don't know how many targets they're going to be able to go around. So to me, it's a toss-up. But I think I'd actually go Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I go Keenan Allen here. No question. I know that the Panthers are facing the Jets, which, that makes you want to, jump the gun and start him, and you think you could have a big game out of him. But I got to see, what the quarterback's going to do. Everybody's got high hopes for Darnold over there this year. And I don't know. I liked him last season. I thought Washington should have pulled the trigger on him. But I need a little bit of proof. Before I can start a guy like Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's touchdowns were very low last season.
We got a lot of Robbie Anderson questions. Robbie Anderson or Julio Jones?
Now, that's a little bit better for me.
It's a little bit of a toss-up, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that Tennessee-Arizona game we're going to talk about in a little bit, that's going to be a high-flying offense. I think I'm going to stick with the I need to see a little bit of what Sam Darnold's going to do, what that offense looks like. So I'm going to go Julio Jones.
I'm going to flip it here, and I'm going to go Robbie Anderson on this one. I think that the Titans have an identity that works, right? They know that they got the bruiser back. When in doubt, you can just run the ball, hammer the ball. A.J. Brown been doing his thing over there as a 50-50 ball catcher. I'm going Robbie Anderson. Yeah.
So here we go. Another quick one. Noah Fant or Tyler Higbee PPR? That's a toss-up, too. I'm going to go Higbee. Get that late night game.
I want to make sure the matchup. I'm going Higbee as well. Giants defense is going to come out here today and show up. I got a little surprise for y'all when we go over that game, too. Give me Tyler Higbee.
There we go. Big shout out to David for the $4.99 super chat. Says $5 for the amount of touchdowns the Giants are scoring. I don't know if tonight or the next 4 games.
I like that. He set me up, yo.
Big shout out to Josh Latore for the $2 super chat. Says Marquez Callaway or Tyson Williams in the flex. If it's PPR, Tyson Williams, he's the guy now after everybody else went down in Baltimore. But
maybe
Marquez
for today. For today, right?
Maybe for today. Marquez Callaway, I think, is going to have a big day. He's going to be heavily owned in DraftKings and FanDuel because he's so cheap, and he showed up in the preseason, obviously the number one while Michael Thomas is not there. I love Jameis Winston and Marquez Callaway today, so I'm going to go Marquez Callaway.
I'm going to go Williams on this one. I just think Lamar Jackson makes every player on the offensive side of the ball better. So, granted, if he was on another team, maybe not, but running with Lamar, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, with that said, we are going to jump into the next game, which actually just so happens to be the New York Jets at the Carolina Panthers.
You scared me there. I heard the New York. I said, nah, it's too early.
Oh, the New York Jets at the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under for this game is 45.5 points. This is going to be an interesting game. There's a lot of unknowns here. Zach Wilson, the Jets team as a whole, with no more Adam Gase. The Panthers have a completely new look at quarterback with Sam Darnold. No more Teddy Bridgewater. A healthy Christian McCaffrey though is back. That wide receiving core is kind of loaded, if you ask me, with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and the rookie, who I really, really like and think is going to have a huge year. I'm saying it here now first. Remember the name, Terrace Marshall Jr. The kid is going to score a touchdown today. That is definitely going to happen for me. Also, another rookie wide receiver who's going to get a lot of action in this game because Jamison Crowder is out, and that is Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is another huge rookie wide receiver to keep your eyes on, not just today, but for the rest of the season. This game is very tough for me, but I'm staying away from the spread on this game. I think if I had to, I might take the Jets plus 3.5 because I think Carolina wins this game, but they might only win it by field goal. It's going to be interesting. The over-under to me is 45.5. I don't know what either one of these defenses are going to look like. So I'm actually going to, I don't know. I'm talking myself into taking overs already, but I'm going to take the over in this game. So I like the Carolina to win, Jets to cover, and the over. And like I said, I mentioned those rookie wide receivers, and Christian McCaffrey is definitely a must play in daily because you're probably not going to get him this cheap again for the rest of the season.
3.5. I think the Jets are going to come out today and struggle. I like what you said about Elijah Moore. I think, with the injury to Jamison Crowder, that's going to open up a lot of things for the wide receivers over there. I look for Zach Wilson to kind of struggle, but, still put up a couple touchdowns. I'm looking up maybe 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. As far as the over-under, I think we are going to get to the 45.5. But give me the Panthers to just win this game and cover as well. I think 3.5 is a little bit too little for a team that, the Jets just struggled last year. So give me the Panthers.
So, quick question. Who do you think has a better game at quarterback, Sam Darnold or Zach Wilson?
I think Sam Darnold had a better game, but they'll both have pretty ugly games. Probably an interception on each side of the ball. I just think it'll come down to like a fourth quarter performance from the Panthers to pretty much make this a 10-point game.
Gotcha. Diggy. What's good,
Diggy
my
in
fellow
the building.
Moes?
What's up? Giants Nation in the building. Make sure y'all go sub up.
Great to see you, brother. So the next game on the slate is going to be the Arizona Cardinals, who are heading to Tennessee to face the Titans. The Titans are 3-point favorites. This game kicks off at 1 o'clock. The over-under is high, which I like to see because that's a game I'm usually going to target when it comes to making my fantasy lineups in DraftKings and FanDuel. The over-under is 53.5 points. The pace of this game is going to be absolutely insane. I am loving the Arizona Cardinals stack, so I'm probably going to go Kyler Murray. I love these running backs who are going to be able to get you points on the ground, points on the air. So I'm going to go Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and then if you finagle your lineup good enough, you might even be able to squeeze in Derrick Henry on the run back on that stack. So Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins,
that's a lot of good players right there.
It is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to pick up some really cheap defenses and tight ends, but it is a possibility. I was able to kind of work that in a couple of lineups. Obviously, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones duo is going to be one to look for. I'm actually curious from not even a fantasy standpoint, but I'm interested to see how Arizona is going to work the running back situation with Chase Edmonds and James Conner. I think that's going to be an
I forgot about the James Conner pickup
to look for. And also, you guys know I love my rookie wide receivers, Rondell Moore. Rondell Moore might be one of the top added players on waiver wires after this first week. And that all depends on how A.J. Green looks. Is A.J. Green going to have this resurrection, or is A.J. Green just going to kind of like ride away into the sunset, just kind of like not really?
I mean, with A.J. Green, I think, he, even if he's not that effective, he can do what like Mike Evans just did on Thursday night, right? Where it's like you're just kind of a decoy. You got two taller, or not even taller, but two wide receivers that can just go up and get it. So safeties are going to have to respect that. I think that the problem with Rondell Moore here is going to be the battle with Christian Kirk. You know, it's like who's going to emerge as the real number 3 wide receiver over there. I think Christian Kirk has kind of struggled for a little while here. You know, like he's played some decent ball, but it hasn't been consistent. And I don't think coming out of the draft is what the Cardinals expected out of him. I like both A1 wide receiver stacks here with the quarterbacks. I think it'll be a good look for this game. There's a lot of players I stay away from in this game that I just want to see. Like you said, A.J. Brown, Rondell Moore, Christian Kirk on that side of the ball. Julio Jones, you know, just unsure how he's going to work in this offense. But we are talking about one of the better wide receivers of the past 10 years in the NFL for sure. But, yeah, I mean, I think I'm high on the Cardinals this season. A lot of people sleeping on them because the Cardinals lost, I want to say, 5 of their last 7 games last season. And they won, like, you know, I think they only had 2 losses in their first 6 games or 7 games. So they started off really well, and then they fell off at the end when Kyler Murray was dealing with the shoulder injury, I believe it was. But I'm going to take the Titans in this game, week 1. But I do think that the Cardinals are going to come on strong. They just got to really find out what the identity is with wide receivers. Who's going to be the guys that are going to make the plays. I'm going to take the under in this. You know, I think that the Titans are going to be able to run the ball, control the clock, make some big plays. And I think Ryan Tannehill will have the better game of the 2 quarterbacks.
So I think I'm going to take the Cardinals. I did take the Cardinals +3. You know, this game I think is going to be close. It might come down to, you know, a 1.2 point win by the Titans, and I wouldn't be upset with that. But I think Cardinals are going to make this a really close game, and I think this game is going to go back and forth, and it's going to be a high flying offensive showdown. I'm going to take the over 53.5 points.
We should have maybe put some marks to see how good our guesses are going to be this season on the parlay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back on this episode when all said and done, and I'll tally it up because we gotta keep some record for the parlay. I know we're doing it for Tuesdays and Thursday show.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, we do a Tuesday and Thursday show, the best division in football coverage on the NFC East. Tuesday we do recaps of the past weekend's games, and Thursdays we do previews of the games to come. So yeah, definitely check us out on that too.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting after week 1, that first Tuesday back, because you know that there's nothing more overreaction time period in the NFL than after that first week. You know
Big
how
facts.
it is.
And you know we got to
God.
get ready for Thursday, man. We got
yeah.
the New York Giants coming down here to FedEx Field. So, yeah, it's going to be a short week. We're going to be flying, man. Once Sunday flies by, the week is just going to go.
So the next game on the slate is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 3.5 point favorites. This game kicks off at 1 o'clock, and the over-under is 45.5 points. I mean, this game is I don't really know what to tell you. I love Laviska Shenault.
Every year you do.
I always have since the day he was drafted. I think this is the year he has a breakout year. I'm curious to see how Trevor Lawrence performs out the gate. James Robinson with no Travis Etienne, can he recreate that magical undrafted rookie season that he had last year? The Texans. Who's gonna carry the Texans? Tyrod Taylor, I think, is a capable quarterback in the NFL. I know Awthentik and I have had off-air conversations about Tyrod Taylor. I feel
Facts.
like 100 times over the last 10 years. So maybe this is his chance to really show people that he has a talent to start an entire season. Brandon Cooks is somebody to look out for on the Texans.
You gonna let me
side.
get one of these games first because you keep taking my players, man.
I'm gonna go to you first on the next one then.
Yeah,
Nico
bro,
Collins.
this the one I wanted first, man. Hey, shout out Scotty Booms one time in the chat, man. I see you in the chat one time. What's up, bro?
I'm curious to see how Nico Collins performs. And then last is the Texans backfield. It's crowded.
This man cleaning up the players, man.
It's David Johnson. It's Phillip Lindsay. It's Mark Ingram. Who's going to do what? I mean, look, I'm going to take Jacksonville to win this game. I'm going to take Jacksonville to cover. And I think I'm going to go with the over 45.5.
The over. Well, I'm gonna just give you a spoiler alert here. The Texans are going to win this game outright. Watch how the Texans win this game. Now, I talked about Deshaun Watson last season, right? And not having like a real premier number 1 wide receiver. I got to take that back, bro. I've been hating on Brandon Cooks. I'm going to keep it 100. I've been hating on Brandon Cooks. but the statistics from last year are really good. And if you look at his 2 games versus Jacksonville, he averaged 23.7 fantasy points per game in those 2 games in 2020. 81 catches, 1,150 yards, 6 touchdowns in 2020. Now, Tyrod Taylor might slow things down just a little bit, but when you look at Deshaun Watson and you look at Tyrod Taylor, the play style is very similar. So I don't see the drop-off being that crazy. Maybe some of the throws down the field, we'll see a little bit less of that this season from the Texans. A lot of people are down on the Texans. I know they've had a offseason filled with turmoil. I get it. On the other side, James Robinson, man. So the Texans have allowed the most scrimmage yards per game to running backs in 2020. James Robinson should have a field day. 1,070 yards last season, which was 5th in the NFL, and he had 10 total touchdowns. I'm looking for him to have a big day. I think it's going to be a close game. Give me the over, but give me the Texans to win this game outright.
I would not be surprised if that happens. I think, if anybody is going to be able, if there's a matchup that's going to favor the Texans this year, maybe it's the Jaguars. Although I am on record, as saying that, and I think I'm probably the only person in the entire world who thinks the Jacksonville Jaguars end the season with a winning record.
Yeah, and I could feel that, like, closer we get to the season, the less faith you have in that prediction.
Absolutely. Hey, I got to give a big shout out because I ain't seen him all season yet. Bobby!
What's up, boy? Giants Nation in the building.
So I'm going to
where's Cooper's daddy?
He's in the chat, man. He's
in the chat. Say what's up to Scotty, man. Yo, Bobby's always in the Giant streams and whatnot. Whenever he sees my name, he always asks about Cooper, man. So salute to the homie Bobby, man. He really cares for the animals, man.
For sure. So I'm going to kick this first to Awthentik on this next game, but I'm going to give him a quick little intro. The Seattle Seahawks, who are 0-0, they are a 3-point favorite, and they are heading to Indianapolis to face the Carson Wentz Colts at 1 o'clock. The Seahawks are 3-point favorites, and the over-under is 48.5. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
I'll tell you what I got, man. I'm gonna stay away from all the popular players, the obvious ones, the DK Metcalfs, the Russell Wilsons. I got one matchup that I think is a horrible matchup today, and it's Chris Carson at running back. The Colts defense, especially their rush defense, was really good last season. Also made some upgrades there. They held running backs to under 65 yards in all but 3 games. 2 of those games were versus Derrick Henry. Colts run defense is legit. You put me on notice last season early on. I wasn't, my faith wasn't instilled in the Colts defense, early on in the year. Now that we finished, the Colts rush defense is legit. You got to bench Chris Carson in this game. I think that's the number one player that if you drafted him, watch out for him in this game unless you got to put him in. As far as the over-under, let me take a look at this ticker one time, 48.5. We not going to get there, the Beard. And I'm going to take the Seahawks to win this game. I'm going to take the Seahawks to win this game.
Yeah, I like Seattle here as well. I am curious to see how Carson Wentz performs. I think that's the kind of the storyline I like here. I do like
hang tight, my man Benny in the building one time.
Benny
he sent me a text and was like, yo, I'm so upset I missed y'all first couple of streams. I ain't get to catch them live. Caught the reruns. Salute to Benny, man. Benny's a homie. And you know how hard it is to get the homies to support something you doing? I've been talking about this on Twitter, man. Stay away from the homies unless they really the homies. Go ahead.
Look, somebody is texting me right now. Hey, what time do we have to enter the DraftKings contest? I'm like, if you were to just jump in, tune in right now to the parlay. Not only will I give you that answer, but I'll give you some plays too. But I really love the Russell Wilson stack here. You can probably do this. Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. Bring it back with my sleeper pick of the game at wide receiver, Michael Pittman. Jr.
Yeah,
no T.Y. Hilton. This is the coming out party for Michael Pittman Jr. I talked about him a ton last year. He had some okay games, didn't get a lot of burn. I think this is the coming out party. I love Michael Pittman Jr. here. Also, the obvious, season-long stud in this game is going to be Jonathan Taylor. It's showtime. It's showtime for this Colts offense. Can they keep up with how good their defense is playing? I'm going to take Seattle minus the 3, and I'm going to take the over on 48.5. Next
I like it. I like it. Shout out to the homie Patrick one time too in the chat as well. What up, boy?
What up, Pat? Pat, make sure you text Mo and tell him he has until, kickoff 1 o'clock to get into this DraftKings contest.
Yeah, get it together.
If you guys didn't know, that at the top of the chat, in the YouTube chat, is the link to the Authentic and the Beard, the Parlay official DraftKings daily fantasy football contest. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope to see you guys there. Next game on the slate. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one because Authentic has some things he wants to say, I'm pretty sure, about one of these quarterbacks. It's going to be the Minnesota Vikings and Kirk Cousins going to Cincinnati. The Vikings are 3-point favorites. The over-under in this game is not too bad at 47.5 points. Authentic, tell me what you got.
Hey, we're coming to me first again, man.
Come on, we're going to mix it up a little bit.
Got some manners, man.
I feel like I had to, throw it your way.
I like this, man. So my notes I told you on this game are 4 words. It's 4 words in a bracket. I got Kirk Cousins with the bracket towards him and away from Joe Burrow. Sit Joe Burrow, just getting back off this major injury. I don't know if he's ready yet. I don't like the number 1 wide receiver situation over there either. Kirk Cousins got when they was talking about the best weapons in the NFL, they didn't mention Kirk Cousins. They went Dallas second, if you noticed, across the board with the media. Kirk Cousins might have the best running back in the game in Dalvin Cook. His wide receiver duo is just amazing. We saw both of them on display. If you saw that Dallas Cowboys game last season where CeeDee Lamb went up and made the crazy catch, and then you had Adam Thielen make the crazier catch maybe. Justin Jefferson out there breaking Randy Moss records. Give me Kirk Cousins in this game and give me Dalvin Cook in this game. And I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to come out here and shock people. I mean, Bengals aren't a great team, but you wouldn't expect Minnesota to blow them out. I'm looking for Minnesota to just come out here and just completely put up just a ton of points on the board. Kirk Cousins, I'm looking for 3 touchdowns in this game. Look to start my man Kurt, and I think this will be like them early smoke and mirrors a little bit. Damn, this beat is fire. I might have to rap on this one. No bull, yo.
That's one of my favorite parts about Authentic and the Beard is, there's a beat, probably at least one an episode where it's like, if the chat's not like going crazy, one of the two of us is like, hey, hold up, man. This
fire. I can hear Jada Kiss on this. I can hear Jada Kiss get busy on this one, yo. But yeah, man, I really like Kirk Cousins against this Bengals defense today, man. Bengals might be an improved team, but I wouldn't look for it in this game. Yeah, give me the over in this one and give me the Vikings to cover.
Like I want to like the Bengals, right? Because I was talking about the Bengals so much last year, and then Joe Burrow goes down. That defense is just I'm worried about that defense, right? And then obviously the big story coming out of Cincinnati this last week is all the things that Jamar Chase was saying about the difference between the college football and the NFL football, and people were just dragging him through the mud all up and down on the internet, and there it is right there. I think his quotes kind of got taken out of context. He was basically asked what the difference was between the football in NFL.
They set him up. They set the youngin' up.
They set him up because they're like, oh, you have some drops in this preseason. What's the difference between the footballs?
You know what I think we need to start doing with quotes? I remember one time when Odell Beckham was a Giant, they misquoted him a certain way. They didn't misquote him. They quoted the words, right? But he was completely joking, right? Now that everybody's typing and texting and emojis, why don't we start using emojis a little bit more with these quotes, Because if he's got a smirk on his face, if he was laughing, or if he was dead serious, I think that's very important. With this thing with Jamar Chase in the football, it's like they set you up with the question. Granted, you don't want to hear that from your A1, new A1 wide receiver. But it is an adjustment. He's kind of right. I know what it's like to catch a college football. Not that I played in college, but I know what it's like to catch that ball. It's different. It's definitely a wider pigskin for sure.
It's no K2 football.
You don't want to hear that from the wide receiver, 1,000%.
Yeah, but listen, I'm curious. Now the eyes are on him. Is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase going to pick up where they left off in college? I think another big question mark here in this game is Joe Mixon. Mixon, is Joe Mixon healthy? Is Joe Mixon going to be this sort of amazing athletic ability at running back that we have seen flashes of? Can he put it together for an extended period of time? And then T. Higgins in his second year. Joe Burrow's got weapons, but if they can't protect Joe Burrow, then that's the end of it all right there. And that defense is
facts.
just not built to contain an offense like Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. So I'm going to go Minnesota, the -3, and I'm going to actually, that over-under, if they're going you said 3 touchdowns from Kirk Cousins?
Yes, sir.
Oh. I'm going to take the over. 2 bad defenses.
Speaking on the Jamar Chase thing real quick before we move on from this game, that might be what he needed. I wasn't – it's weird. I was high on Jamar Chase coming out of the draft, but then when I really watched the tape, I thought he was going to be a little bit too slow and his physicality would not be as much of a factor in the NFL. But that might be what he needs, some motivation. A lot of these young boys play off confidence, man. They've been the guy for a long time, for the majority of their life. They've been the guy. And sometimes you need to just get humbled back down so you can really, get focused and hone in on your craft and on your skills and notice that, you was a baller coming from where you came from, but everybody is a baller in the NFL. And it's time for him to step up, so maybe those drops in the preseason and all this press that he's getting might be a good thing.
It's going to be interesting to see for sure. I think he comes out maybe and has a big game. I mean, if you're going to have a big game against the defense, Minnesota's defense has been known to be pretty suspect. So we shall see. So the next game is the biggest spread, I believe, on the slate today. That is the San Francisco 49ers, who are 8.5-point favorites, head to the Detroit Lions. This game kicks off at 1 o'clock. The over-under on this game is going to be 46.5 points. I mean, this is going to be an interesting game. Like, is Detroit as bad as everybody thinks they are?
No.
And then how's San Francisco going to come out the gate? Because they're healthy. If they're healthy, they're definitely a Super Bowl contending team. I mean, that defense, all over the place on that defense, you got studs. So, that's kind of going to be a battle to see how this, basically Detroit Lions team with Jared Goff and DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson. Good luck naming the wide receiver on that team. They got the rookie guy. I don't know how much burn he's going to get. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, out of USC, who has the capability to be a good wide receiver in the National Football League. But the 49ers, Raheem Mostert, and I'm excited to kind of see. I want to see Trey Sermon. I like Trey Sermon. I think he's going to, eventually take over a lot of the bulk of those carries in San Francisco. And I also really like Ayuk and Deebo Samuel on the outside. So it's going to be interesting. Does San Francisco cover 8.5, though? That's too big of a spread for me in the first week. I will take San Francisco to win the game, and I'm going to go with the under on 46.5.
Man, I really want to take the Lions in this game. I do think a lot of people are down on the Lions. But if you look at Vegas odds, they have them winning the same amount of games as last season, and they're looking at Matthew Stafford over there in Los Angeles as he's not going to give them any more wins. So to me, maybe this whole quarterback situation is a little bit blown over. A lot of people think Jared Goff is garbage. I think Jared Goff's pretty decent. I think he can do some things. Poor man's Matt Ryan kind of vibe. But I think the player to look for in this game is Raheem Mostert. Detroit allowed the most fantasy points per game to running backs in 2020. So you could go with any running back with San Francisco, to be honest.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the quarterback matchup here, for me, I think I'm going to go Goff. I think that the Lions are going to be playing from behind a lot in this game. He's going to have to sling it. And he'll put up some decent numbers. He knows how to take care of the ball for the most part. He's not a turnover machine. I think he'll put up some decent numbers, maybe 2 touchdowns a quarterback. Look for maybe an interception. But of the 2 quarterbacks, I do like Jared Goff in this game, and other running backs like Raheem Mostert. Man, I got to go to 49ers, though. I don't think the Lions are going to be ready to come out here and get a win. So give me the 49ers. I think they cover. And as far as the over-under, I think we are going to get there. We'll get over that 46.5.
This is a good question here. Who do I start? Jalen Waddle, Corey Davis, or David Johnson? David Johnson, I'm just too scared to know what that backfield workload is going to be like with 3 running backs back there and that Texans offense, which we just do not know how good or bad is going to be. Jalen Waddle, I love, but there's a lot of people, targets going on around there with Jalen Waddle, Gesicki, Devontae Parker, Tua is that quarterback. Some people are not necessarily 100% sold on him. Corey Davis, though, I absolutely love today. I think there's a lot of question marks. Is he going to be a number one guy? Is he, he's played next to A.J. Brown the last couple of years when he, kind of stood up. He's had some issues with drop passes, but I saw Zach Wilson and him click in the preseason. I want to say that he was targeted, like I heard somebody say, close to 60% of the time in the preseason when him and Zach Wilson were on the field together at the same time. So I'm playing a lot of Corey Davis today. I actually drafted a lot of Corey Davis, so I would go with Corey Davis.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think the safest one here might be David Johnson going up against the Jaguars. High risk, high reward. I got Jalen Waddle on one of my teams. He's sitting on my bench right now, but he did have a good preseason. He had the little scare with the injury. A lot of people thought he was banged up, but he walked away from that. I think I'm gonna go Jalen Waddle, but I don't really like any of these players, to be honest. I'm not sold on Corey Davis. Kind of looking like a first round bust right now, wide receiver. Could revive his career, in New York. And David Johnson is what he is. I think at this point, I'm going to go Jalen Waddle on that.
Got you. I'm not mad at that pick at all. This is a tough one. Chase Claypool or Kenny Galladay. Listen, I love Chase Claypool, but I feel like he has a lot more competition for targets in that offense with Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster than Galladay does in the Giants offense. Even though the Giants are facing, the Denver Broncos, which on paper are a good defense, Pittsburgh's facing Buffalo, whose defense is not too bad either. In this particular game, in this situation, I would go Kenny Galladay.
Nah, I'm going Chase Claypool. Kenny Galladay, looking at the tape just looks crazy. Even his 2020 tape is ridiculous. I mean, he only had like 20 or 30 catches, but every catch, ridiculous. The dude is a bona fide baller, but Claypool showed you last season what he can do with Ben Roethlisberger. Big play guy, same style kind of wide receivers. I'd wait for Galladay to show he can prove it today, maybe next week, and then look to start Galladay. Today, I'm going Claypool.
Whoa, breaking news here. That is one thing we forgot to take a look at was the injury report. Marjorie says that 49ers running back Trey Sermon and Bills running back Zach Moss are both inactive today. I did not see that coming. And Wayne Gallman is not playing for the Falcons today either. I'm going to have to make some last-minute adjustments on some of my
Yeah,
lineups.
Wayne Gallman, is a guy I knew wouldn't play today. He, just too new over there in Atlanta, and they had him way down on the depth chart. I told you Cordell Patterson was ahead of him on the depth chart, and that's probably for a reason right now. He probably just doesn't know the playbook, doesn't know really the scheme and what's going on over there. Zach Moss, I wouldn't have started him anyway. The Buffalo Bills have a real issue giving running backs the ball. We saw that all last season. And Trey Sermon, that just, Raheem
That
Mostert.
surprised me. That's huge. That surprised me. I don't think, I'm curious to know why he's not active, but I guess we will find that out soon. I wonder if that is a COVID issue.
It could be.
Thank you, Margie, for the breaking news. We're going to get
that.
to one more game on the 1 o'clock slate, and that is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles at the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are a 3-point favorite. The over-under in this game is 48.5. Just off the quick, I love Devonta Smith and Kyle Pitts. Those are my two rookie players that I'm looking for. We talked about this game briefly during the week. Also, I'm kind of feeling like, dang, I didn't put Calvin Ridley in any of my fantasy lineups this week.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that, as far as daily fantasy goes, I'm wondering if that's going to come back and bite me. This game is going to be fairly interesting, I think. I took Atlanta on the money line. I think it's going to be a close game. That 3-point spread scares me. And I'm going to go with the over 48.5. I think this game might be back and forth. Jalen Hurts might come out and have a huge game, but Kyle Pitts is the guy here. I am Kyle Pitts heavy this week. I mean, he is almost.
This is going to be great
everything.
to be able to scout Kyle Pitts and really see what he can do. I always talk about the first round tight end bust that we've seen throughout the years. I mean, it's just been back to back to back. Tight ends in the first round don't work normally. He's looking to break that curse as the highest drafted tight end. I think that this is the kind of game that when all said and done, we're still going to know nothing. We're not going to know if the Falcons are truly improved, and we won't know where the Eagles stand. We know Jalen Hurts can run around. He can put up some points as far as fantasy goes for sure. So I think if you got him, he's a definite start. The other thing is the Falcons secondary, man. I talked about this on the show on Thursday. They have one guy who's making over $1 million a year in Eric Harris at safety. Everybody else making under $1 million. These are some these are scraps right here when it comes to secondary. It's hard to even name a player on the Atlanta Falcons defense. So I'd look for Devonta Smith to go off, Jalen Hurts to go off. Quez Watkins might be a guy who's a sleeper in this game too. Everybody looking for Jalen Reagor to have a bounce-back season. I'm going to take a little bit of pride here on this one. I'm going Falcons in this game. I think the Falcons will cover. I think it'll be about a 7-point game. And I think the Falcons are going to put up a lot of points. Matt Ryan, people need to put some respect on Matt Ryan's name, man. Some people was in my studio yesterday talking about Matt Ryan's a bum. I'm like, y'all wildin'. They're like, he can't win the big game. I'm like, we can't forget, man, they were up by 24, 28, maybe 24 points in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm not blaming that one on Matt Ryan. I'm blaming that one on defense and coaching. But give me the Falcons in this game. I'll take the over, and I think the Falcons cover.
For sure. I mean, this 4 o'clock games, there's a lot of high-power 4 o'clock games here. This next one
my New York Giants.
is going to be interesting. Cleveland Browns. Is this the year that Cleveland takes things to the next level? We'll see.
No, last year was that year. Last year was the year.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some people that are saying that Cleveland can make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we thought that last season, man, when they took care of they took care of Pittsburgh, and do you remember how they went up on Pittsburgh?
Oh yeah.
You remember that first quarter when we were texting each other like, "Whoa, what is going on?" It's like 35-0, and then they allowed Ben Roethlisberger to put up 500 yards and get back in that game. Kind of scare you if you're a Browns fan, but I think they took the leap last season, man. They were right there. They were one game away.
Yeah, and this is a rematch of their playoff loss. And the Cleveland Browns head to Kansas City. Kansas City is 5.5-point favorites. Kickoff is at 4:25. The over-under is a whopping 54.5 points. Authentic. Tell me what you got.
Look, I think this game's going to kind of be a surprise for everybody. The national media has been spreading the narrative that the Browns should be able to compete in this game. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think that this Kansas City Chiefs team is bitter right now, and they're pissed off about what happened last season in the Super Bowl. That's like when the Giants made it to the Super Bowl against the Ravens, except it's worse. You get blown out in the Super Bowl. I want to say it was like 31-8 or something crazy like that. They got blown out. So they're on a revenge tour here, I would say. And they were probably back at practice really grinding out. I think the Chiefs are going to actually blow them out. Let me not say a blowout. I think they're going to put up a lot of points, and Baker and these Browns are going to be forced to pass the ball. We talked about this off air about Odell Beckham being a question mark today. So, I know that the Browns can operate without Odell Beckham, but that's predicated on their identity, which is the run. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. I do think that both of those guys are must-starts today in this game. But I think that the Chiefs are going to win this game, and I think they're going to cover. I think they're going to win this game I think we're going to see Patrick Mahomes on the sideline laughing in the fourth quarter. So I think they win this game by about 14, maybe 17 points. I think they'll cover. Over-under, I think we'll get there because the Chiefs are going to score a lot of points in this game, and the Browns are going to be forced to try to stay close, but they won't. I'm looking at a score of maybe 42-17-ish, something like that. But give me the Chiefs in this game, and I think the sleeper to look out for is Mecole Hardman.
Look, I love it. I love me some Mecole Hardman, and I am riding the Mecole Hardman wave today big time. I got him stacked with Mahomes and Kelsey, bringing it back with some Kareem Hunt on the Brown side. But listen, I think Authentic is onto something here, but I think that Cleveland's actually going to be forced to score some points, and I think that they will score some points. I actually really like Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry stack and bring it back with Travis Kelce on the other side. So that's definitely something to look out for. I think this game is going to be crazy back and forth. I think it's going to go over the 54.5. But I do like Kansas City to cover 5.5, which is always a little risky when it comes down to, the first week in any game in the NFL, really. But I'm going to take the Chiefs. Minus 5.5. I'm going to take the over. I like Baker Mayfield. I like Travis Kelce. I like Mecole Hardman in this game. Also, Jarvis Landry.
With the Chiefs, man, they they ended the season kind of slow. not covering, I want to say, out of 5 out of 6 games.
Yeah,
they didn't
I
cover.
remember that.
You know, so they start off hot. So I'm looking for them to start off hot. I like these 2 comments right here from Mr. Mini Guy right here. He's like, Chiefs, but it could be close. 35-7. I like that. And we can't forget about Sammy Watkins going over to Baltimore as well. So that's why we're high on Mecole Hardman. I know a lot of people might be thinking like, well, why is he going to break out this year? And that could be why. He's the number 2 wide receiver over there now.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I just got an update. Austin Eckler is active against Washington after being listed as questionable.
That's not good news for Washington football team fans.
So the next game on the slate is going to be the Alabama Quarterback Bowl. Miami Dolphins are heading to New England. New England is a 3.5-point favorite, which is kind of surprising to me. The over-under is a very low 43.5 points. This game is very interesting. We're going to see Mac Jones. So I'm excited. Mac Jones.
Who?
Mac Jones. I almost gave out the phone number, but
I know I was thinking about it.
I'm curious to see Tua. I really want to see Tua take it to the next level. We talked about Jalen Waddle a little bit. I think Mike Gesicki might be one of the sleeper picks here at tight end. As far as DraftKings go, I liked him. He got a lot of burn last year, but things are going to be a little bit different now that Jalen Waddle's there. Also Will Fuller, but he is suspended for this game, so that'll be interesting. On the Patriots side of the ball, I just want to see how Mac Jones operates. I don't really have a lot of players going in this game, so I think this is going to be one of those more of the observation games for me for the day. Like, just kind of want to see what direction these teams are going to be going in, because the AFC East is shaking up a little bit here. It's going to be an interesting year for that division. I am going to take Miami plus 3.5, and 43.5 seems super low, but I'm going to take the under.
Yeah, 43.5 definitely seems pretty low. But we know that the New England Patriots are a really good running team, man. They showed that in the preseason. My sleeper pick for this game, somebody that you might want to start in your lineup, is Jacoby Myers. He had a really, really good preseason outing. I think he's going to step up and be that true number 1 over there. Mac Jones, man, listen. Shout out to my homie Mac Jones, but shout out to my homie Mark Schofield, right? He does play-by-play breakdowns on YouTube, man, and he was breaking down Mac Jones. Yo, Mac Jones is the real deal. He reads the field just very fast. And a lot of these young quarterbacks who have been struggling, I feel like that's what they struggle with most, is being able to get the ball out quickly. I broke that down in that play with Daniel Jones. Even though that's just one play, Daniel Jones has trouble just like seeing it and getting rid of it quickly. Hopefully he improves on that this year. But Mac Jones in the preseason showed he's a slower kind of guy. Everything kind of drops back slow, but mentally, man, he's so quick, and the arm is quick. He gets the ball out fast. I'm looking for Mac Jones and Jacoby Myers to really be a new duo that we're going to look forward to in the next couple years to come. As far as that over-under, it's very difficult for me. 43.5. Let me see. I think that Mac could put up probably about 21. I'm going to take the under as well. Give me the Patriots to cover that 3.5. I think it's going to be maybe a 10-point game maybe.
Ooh, interesting. Big shout out to Nick the Wick for the $1.99 super chat. Says, calling it now, the Browns are going 8-9 and missing the playoffs.
I'm not too mad at that. I want to take a look at the Browns schedule and really try to add it up. But the Browns were a bit surprising last season, man. Winning some games that they weren't supposed to win.
Yeah.
Hey,
sure.
Yeah, give my man Mike Jones. We got to say Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Yeah,
I actually
give him
just
a call.
heard a song with Mike Jones and Slim Thug and somebody else the other day.
That might be one of the best rap eras for real, man. I really liked when the whole Slim Thug vibes was popping with Mike Jones, man, and I think that inspired A$AP Rocky a little bit too, man.
Very interesting.
With his sound
Very
and whatnot.
So the next game on the slate before we get into the night game, the Monday night game, and in our games is going to be the Green Bay Packers, who are 3.5-point favorites heading to New Orleans to face Jameis Winston. Green Bay is favored by 3.5. The over-under is 49.5. This game's got just crazy score implications all over it. I
Right.
love Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I think they're going to, put up some insane numbers. But I am big on Jameis Winston this year. I drafted Jameis Winston. I have Jameis Winston in multiple DraftKings lineups going today. I think Marquez Callaway is going to take advantage of his time while Michael Thomas is not around. I'm looking for the two of them to hook up on multiple occasions. Alvin Kamara is going to have a huge game today. This game's going to be exciting, to say the least. I am going to take Green Bay, though, to cover the 3.5. I definitely think we're going to hit the over on 49.5. I think the Saints will lose this game, but I don't think it's going to be Jameis Winston's fault. I had somebody, I was on Twitter, they were saying, stay away from Jameis Winston. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, why would I stay away from Jameis Winston? This game's going to be a lot of, back and forth scoring. I like Jameis Winston as a quarterback, and then the only thing they could give me it's Jameis Winston. And
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but listen, he might not be that turnover machine. And even when he was turning the ball over, what else was he doing? He was
throwing touchdowns.
putting up the most touchdowns in the league and crazy yards.
And the most yards. Let's not forget, he had the 5,000 yards, I want to say, right?
In a
He's close to
Sean
5,000.
Payton offense, and then the Packers defense is not that good. I mean, they're better than what they have been in previous years past. They made some improvements last year, but still, I think this is going to be a high-flying game. Give me the Packers minus 3.5, and give me the over 49.5.
Yeah, I definitely like the over. And I like the Saints. I like the Packers to cover as well, too. But I agree with everything you said there. I mean, the Saints are going to have to keep it close. And let's not forget, Jameis Winston has one of the best running backs in the NFL now. And we're talking about one of the best running backs in the pass game as well. Kamara can take a screen pass and take it 50 yards for a touchdown. So there's that can open up for Jameis Winston and get him more yards and more touchdowns. And you can't forget that fantasy football is just a lot different than real football. I don't want to take Jalen Hurts as my starting quarterback in real life, but I would 100% take him as my starting quarterback in fantasy. I think that there's other quarterbacks out there that would be better suited than Lamar Jackson in a real game. But when it's fantasy, give me Lamar Jackson. In this game, I think that Valdez-Scantling could be an interesting wide receiver to keep your eye on here, too, because he's jumping into the number 2 wide receiver position over there with Green Bay. And they got Randall Cobb back, too. So those two guys are you want to keep your eyes on them. I don't know if you want to start them today, but you definitely want to keep your eyes on them. At the running back, Aaron Jones, we know, man, dude's a beast. He can always be a guy early in the season to put up a lot of points as well. So, yeah, I like the Packers in this game. But, yeah, definitely going to be a shootout. We might get to 10 over-under, to be honest. Who knows? This could be high-flying. This is going to be an interesting game to watch today. And, I can't wait. This might be one that I keep on, not only watching Red Zone. I might keep that game on.
Yeah, it could be a 35-31 sort of game there,
yeah.
When it's all said and done. So we're going to move into the night game. The night game tonight is going to be the Chicago Bears heading to Los Angeles to face the Matthew Stafford Rams. The Rams are 7.5-point favorites.
The golfless Rams.
7.5-point favorites for the Rams, and the over-under is 46.5 points. This is, you want to talk about the NFL being all right, look, all this Matthew Stafford talk. Matthew Stafford might be an MVP type candidate. We putting him on prime time. Under the lights. Well, I don't know. It might not be dark in Cali at that time. But getting
right.
there. You know what I'm saying?
There.
Chicago decided to go with Andy Dalton at starting quarterback. Listen, there's one name that I love in this game, and that's Darnell Mooney. I love it. I love me some Mooney. I think this is his season. This is his time to shine. The Rams side, no Cam Akers, I think is going to be a huge blow to the offense. So I'm kind of watching that backfield to see, who's going to be taking most of the carries. Darrell Henderson, they traded for Sony Michel. So it's kind of interesting. Obviously,
who has some very low projections to be on that Rams team. Sony Michel was under 10 points. It was 8 points, 9 points.
Yeah, so that's what I'm kind of seeing. Are people just kind of undershooting that? Is he, are they going to play the hot hand? Are they just going to let Matthew Stafford sling the rock 50 times? If so, that opens up the door for Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee. So it's going to be interesting. 7.5 is a huge spread in the NFL, as we've talked about on multiple occasions. But I think that this is the coming out party for Matthew Stafford in this McVay offense. So I'm going to take the Rams minus 7.5. I think I might take the under, though, on 46.5. I just think that Rams defense might really just, get to Andy Dalton in that Bears offense. So we'll see. But that's where I'm going to go for now on the night game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Rams minus 7.5 as well. I'll take the under as well. The Bears offense is not, they don't excite me, to be honest. And there's another name in this game. I mean, you said it, Tyler Higbee, man. Look, the Bears gave up the second most points to tight ends last season in fantasy. So I'm looking for Tyler Higbee and Matthew Stafford to completely light it up. And I think they'll get multiple opportunities because I'm looking for a lot of 3-and-outs from the Bears today, man. The question mark for me is David Montgomery as well. Had his first 1,000-yard rushing season last season, so he's coming into his own now, and he was on people's radar, as a tough, good running back. Don't forget Tariq Cohen is back healthy this year as well too, so that might take away some carries from him. So he's kind of Montgomery's a guy that I might keep on my bench today, but Tyler Higbee 1,000% definitely a start. And tight end is slim this year. Tight end is slim picking this year in the NFL and with fantasy. So, yeah, I like Tyler Higbee in this game. And, yeah, give me the Rams in this one. And minus 7.5 is cool with me. I'll take the under as well.
And Monday Night Football. Man, the Baltimore Ravens have been devastated by injuries. They lost J.K. Dobbins. Then they lost Justice Hill. Then they lost Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
Then they lost Marcus Peters, all to season-ending injuries. So I know I saw a lot of talk about Latavius Murray in the chat so far. I think you got to pump the brakes
Facts.
this first week on Latavius Murray and Le'Veon Bell. Let the kid get his burn and see what he does before you start making any crazy adjustments. This game's going to be interesting. I am all over Lamar Jackson. I think the only way that Baltimore goes on a run, which I think that they thought that they would this year, is if Lamar Jackson is MVP Lamar Jackson, and I think he's ready. I think, it's going to be tough because he lost a lot of weapons already. I started off this offseason by saying Lamar Jackson has the best assortment of weapons he's had since he's been a quarterback in the National Football League, and that has been depleted already with the loss of J.K. Dobbins, and Rashad Bateman is on the IR. So, I love Darren Waller. Darren Waller is going to be the big guy on the Raiders side. Henry Ruggs, I'm looking to see what he does in his sophomore year, but I am going to take the Baltimore Ravens minus 4.5. I'm going to take the Ravens minus 4.5, and that over-under seems a little crazy at 50.5.
Yeah, it does.
I'm going to take the under.
Well, all right. I think that the Raiders are going to come out here and shock the Ravens. Ravens are just a little bit too banged up. Let's not forget that the Ravens, they lost their rookie wide receiver as well for this game, I believe. Sammy Watkins should come in and do a little bit of damage here. I think if you're struggling at depth at wide receiver, Sammy Watkins might be a guy you want to start. But, man, let's talk about Derek Carr, man. Derek Carr needs to be mentioned in the top 10 quarterback conversation. I'm sorry. He's got 4,000 yards in the past 2 seasons, 48 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. I'm remembering this number now because it surprised me so much. And his average completion percentage in those 2 seasons is 68%. This is a baller, and he's doing it with his rookie not showing up. So I think that Ruggs is a guy that you should sit today. You need to see if he's going to come into his second season and be that guy. I forget. Nelson Aguilar was the guy last year doing damage over there. And there was another wide receiver, I forget homie's name.
Brian Edwards, who everybody.
Not Brian Edwards.
Really,
he was
really
a light-skinned dude. I thought he was a white dude.
Hunter Renfrow,
yeah, who was doing a little bit of damage too. But I think that had to do with Ruggs going down the field and taking, some safeties high and whatnot. But I'm taking the Raiders in this game. I'm high on the Raiders this season. This is a new stadium that they're about to open up. You know how lit they're about to be in there? You know how turned up that stadium is going to be?
I think
the Raiders take this one. I think the Raiders take this one. And the over-under, I don't think we're going to get there. I think that the Ravens are going to struggle to put up points today. This is not going to be the Ravens team that you want to judge today, I feel like. If they come out and surprise me and get the dub and Lamar Jackson puts the team on his back today, it's not going to surprise me either. But give me the Raiders in this game. I'm going to take the under in this one, actually, and look for Derek Carr to just light it up.
Whew. Big statement for the Monday night game from Mr. Awthentik himself. And it is everybody's favorite time. It is time to hit the Washington football team and the New York Giants games. The Washington football team is at home. The Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert, the offensive rookie of the year. And as you heard a little while ago, Austin Eckler is active for this game. Washington will be without their newly acquired offseason transaction of Samuel. So he is on the IR. So it's going to be interesting to see who steps up. If you guys have been watching Authentic and the Beard so far this year, you will have heard me say the name Dyami Brown. He is going to be that guy, and expect him to have 100+ receiving yards today. So I am very eager to see this game as a Washington football fan. The Washington football team actually ended up getting the advantage. They changed the spread a little bit. They are a 2.5-point favorite now. And the over-under has moved up to 45.5 points. Authentic. Tell me what you got.
Chargers were favored by 1 coming into Washington, which is interesting. I've been picking the Chargers pretty much all week for this game. And I like the Chargers defense. I really do like the Chargers defense in this game because I think Washington's going to struggle to get it clicking. If they can't find their identity through the run, I'd look for it to be a long day for Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's weird that Austin Eckler is healthy, but the spread went to the Washington football team. I think that's kind of interesting.
Well, that was at 10 o'clock this morning, so that was before the news hit.
Before the news,
so that line might have gone back down to 1.5 or 1.
But I also like the Washington football team defense in this game, too. We can't forget the Chargers had the worst ranked offensive line in 2020, but they had the 9th ranked offense. So that I don't know. Like, they're not blocking, but the kid Herbert is making plays. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a toss-up. But if you're struggling for a defense, Washington might be a good defense to get a lot of sacks today, but also maybe give up some points. So I'm a little sketchy on that. We got the Sam Cosmi matchup with Joey Bosa. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with the Chargers in this one. Give me the Chargers outright. As far as the over-under, I think we are going to get there. We got a high-powered Chargers offense, and Washington should try to compete, but it wouldn't surprise me if Washington kind of kaputs and just struggles today offensively if they can't get behind the run with Antonio Gibson.
You know, I was trying to determine if I was going to change my original picks for this game. I don't think I am. I think I'm going to stick with the score, and I think I'm going to stick with the pick. So I like the Washington football team to win this game. I like them to cover the spread. And I think that 45.5 with my score prediction was under that. That is 45.5. I don't know. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under the 45.5. These offenses haven't been clicking and haven't been playing for the Chargers, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how that goes. Big shout out to Lucas for the $2.99 super chat. Says, join Authentic and the Beard's DraftKings League. If you guys don't know, it is pinned at the top of the chat in YouTube. It is also in the description of this video. You guys have till 1 o'clock to sign up for that. There are still some slots available, so make sure you join that. And now I know Authentic has been waiting for this game, as has, I don't get control of the air horn, so I don't get an air horn for Chargers Washington.
Well, for those that don't know, I'm a sound technician, audio engineer for a living. That's it's part
so
of my
big
livelihood.
shout out. Big shout out to all the Giants fans in the chat for
yes,
sure.
Sir.
So it is the Denver Broncos are heading to New York to face
You know why I've been trying to take the graphics? I feel like every time you click one of the graphics, your computer's like, hey, man, I'm doing a little too much, okay, cuz? And you get a little couple pops and some clicks. I'm like, I've been trying to get them for you.
So the Broncos are 3-point favorites. They are heading to New York. The over-under in this game is absolutely insanely low at 41.5 points. Whew, listen, I like both of these defenses, to be honest with you. I have a lot of Broncos and I have a lot of Giants defenses going in daily fantasy on DraftKings and FanDuel. But offensively, I'm worried to pull the trigger on anybody quite yet. I want to see how Saquon looks. I want to see how Galladay looks for the Giants. And on the Broncos side, I just want to see what they're going to do with Teddy Bridgewater for an entire game. I'm curious to see Javonte Williams, how many carries he's going to get over Melvin Gordon. This is kind of one of those games. There's a few of these on the slate where I just kind of stayed away from because I want to see what happens, how these teams are going to evolve. But I am going to stick with my original pick, and I'm going to take the Denver Broncos. I think I had them winning by 4, my original pick. So I guess that would take them to cover the spread. And that over-under is incredibly low. But I guess I understand it with these two defenses. I might I'm going to take the under 41.5.
You taking the under. Yeah, I mean, Giants offense, we know 31st ranked last year, definitely underwhelming. And people are waiting to see if the new weapons are going to click. But we're banged up today. We got no Evan Ingram. Kenny Galladay should be out there. Saquon Barkley got cleared. And I think if you got, I drafted Saquon in the first round in one of my leagues. And I think you can't afford to put a guy that you drafted in the first round on a bench. So go ahead and just take the risk. Put Saquon Barkley out there. I'm looking for him to get maybe a grand total of 15 touches. And that's including what he'll do in the pass game. But I think he'll do a little bit of damage, man. I don't know. What is the word on Chubb in this game? Is the ankle okay? Is he going to be suited up? And
I have to check because it's a 4:00 game, so I think that injury report will come out in a couple of hours.
Hey, look at this comment from Scotty. Sometimes I just think he just wants to just be, shown on the screen here. Blake too slow. That's what they said last season. Go look who led the league in tackles last season. 100 yards, doubtful. Man. I'll give you $20 if he gets 100 yards. It only got to be a bet. Now
Big
look,
shout out to McGinnis.
Oh, big shout out to the homie McGinnis one time,
It's
man.
great to see y'all again. Authentic. I got Saquon this year. What are we doing with him today?
Yeah, we starting him today. Don't expect nothing too crazy, but I mean, he might sneak his way into the end zone. I don't know where the Giants are going to get their points from today. I'm looking for Kenny Galladay. I'm looking for everybody to carry their load today, just a little bit. Do what you got to do so that we can contend in this game. Now on Thursday, I picked the Broncos to win this game by just a couple of points. And a lot of it was because of the speed they got at wide receiver. I think Jerry Jeudy was one of the top performing rookies last season with the 52 catches, 856 yards. And you got KJ Hamler and who's the cat that's coming back from injury? Cortland Sutton. So their wide receiving core is pretty good. Teddy Bridgewater's capable. What I saw from Teddy Bridgewater in the preseason looked really good. He was making some good reads. I talked about the throws that probably won him the job. He played fantastic in the preseason, and that's why you got Drew Lock on the bench. But today, I'm changing the pick, the Beard. I had the Giants going 9-8, winning the division here. Today, and this was a loss for me on the schedule. But this is the number one reason why I'm going with the Giants today, because we banged up. I kind of looked at it as the matchup that the Ravens have against the Raiders. I want to pick the Ravens, but I think they're just a little bit too banged up. But Coach Vic Fangio has never won in September. He's 0-7. Yo, Giants Nation, we in the building one time. We getting a W today. I'm gonna just keep it funky. We're gonna get the W today, and I look forward to be a close game. Broncos were favored by 3. I think that's kind of interesting for a team that finished last place 5-11. Granted, the Giants only had 6 wins, but we didn't finish last place. We contended within our division. So, yeah, man, give me the Giants outright in this game. Over, under, I'm going to take the over. I think Daniel Jones is going to surprise people today. I think people are going to be really surprised at this kid, that all he needs is an A1 wide receiver to really get it done. And even if Galladay does put up the numbers, I think he could do what Mike Evans did on Thursday night and just take away a little bit of, attention and allow people like Saquon Barkley and Sterling Shepard. Look for Sterling Shepard to have a big game in this game. I'm looking for at least 5 catches and be pushing around 100 yards. And the Giants going to get this W today. It might be close, but yeah, give me my Giants, man. We're going to start the season off right, and that's going to change my record prediction on the season from 9-8 to 10-7, with the Cowboys being right behind them at 8-9, man. Let's go. Giants Nation one time. We in the building, man. Let's go.
It's going to be an interesting day for the NFC East teams. I'm excited.
It is, man. We're pushing 12-15 right now, man. Any last words for the viewers? Any last little sneaky little picks?
Okay, Najee Harris over 58.5 rushing yards, and also Najee Harris to score a touchdown today. I really am. I think he's just super undervalued right now.
Yeah, Yeah, I feel you. And you know, Pittsburgh is a team that we know that they can get it done with a lot of different running backs. That might be a resurgence of a guy like Le'Veon Bell kind of vibe over there with Najee Harris. I mean, his tape looks incredible, man, and he seemed like the lights don't scare him.
You know what's really awesome?
Sir Knox just gave us a super chat.
Well, I'm going to get to that, but
really
I was going to say it's pretty awesome how on Sundays, you know, we're all geared up, and then the beard and the authentic matches our gear so awesomely. So
the beard and the authentic do what?
The
you talking about the third? Yeah, you kind of, you know, you used to kill me with this back in the day. Like I'd be like, say that again, and you would just like trail away with your words. You'd be like,
my multitasking fell off a little bit there because I was pulling up the $5 super chat from the homie Sir Knox says, I need a 5-team money line parlay for the 1 o'clock games. Okay, 5-team parlay for the 1 o'clock games. Washington football team, San Francisco 49ers, Green Bay Packers. Oh, no, Green Bay's at 4:30. Okay, Washington football team, San Francisco, Buffalo, Carolina,
I love.
And Jacksonville.
Oh, no. No, give me Atlanta in that mix.
I have Atlanta too, so you can replace either Jacksonville with Atlanta if you like, Sir Knox. So hopefully that'll be a nice little parlay for you guys.
Shout out Mac, the Giants fan in the building one time. Kevin, the PRF in the building one time.
Yo, shout out to everybody who came through today in general. It was a packed house for the first parlay. That was awesome. So we really appreciate that as always.
Hey, you know, I'm rubbing my crystal ball over here one time, and I got some new information. Saquon Barkley gonna get 100 yards today.
Ooh.
It's a bold prediction.
100 rushing or 100 total?
100 rushing.
Ooh.
On 14 carries.
Big shout out to Bluegrass Picker for the $5 super chat. Says Chiefs.
Chiefs in the building. What's up, Bluegrass? How you living?
In the building. Don't forget, everybody, if you guys haven't already, the DraftKings contest is available until 1 o'clock p.m. The link is in the top of the chat and also in the description. It's going to be lit. Bobby says, say
hey, man. We're here, man. We got about 13 minutes until we get to the first kickoff, man. Yo, it's been love. First parlay was awesome. It was a little difficult getting up today, man. I've been staying up super late, man. That new NBA 2K22 drop, man. My homies got me on that late night vibes. I put the research and everything and the graphics all to the end of the night. So I was up till about 4 in the morning doing some graphics and some production. You know, you got a 2-man show here with Awthentik and The Beard one time, and we ain't giving one of these today. Before we get out of here, man, left side.
Strong side. Biceps in the chat.
Man. Let's get it, man. Well, man, yo, thank y'all for tuning in, man. If you aren't subscribed up to the channel, make sure you subscribe up to the channel, man. We're going to be giving y'all content all year long, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays with the parlay. I'm looking forward to this Tuesday recap, man. This is going to be really amazing. Who knows? Maybe we do an impromptu live Monday. I don't know, man. Me and The Beard set up. We're ready to go. I'm ready to talk football, man. I'm hyped, man. We're here. We waited a long time for this, bro. And we finally here. Can't wait to, like, put on this red zone. If you don't know about NFLBite.com, do what you do. You ain't here from me. All right.
Yeah. Don't forget to check those injuries. You got about 42 minutes till kickoff, so make sure you guys are hip to that. Shout out to Mardu for the Trey Sermon news.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate that, yo. Giants Nation always in the building. We appreciate you, Marjorie, down on the sidelines, getting all that good information.
Enjoy the first Sunday of football.
Hey, Giants, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Today is the day. New beginnings, baby. New beginnings. Nobody winning this division at no 7-9 this year. We taking this division at 10-7. I wasn't convinced. I wasn't convinced. I was at 9-8. 10-7 New York Giants, man. We appreciate y'all being here, man. It's all love. Awthentik and The Beard. One more time. Left side.
Strong side. Peace.